Today I will have a wonderful actress, comedian, Ginny Cavin, cold reading one of my poems called My Mouth. I will just share one story that kind of contributed to creating that poem that Ginny will read. I wrote it in, I think, 2002, when I was a young mother of 3 little boys, and as you probably obviously know, I'm an immigrant, so I don't really have family. I didn't have anybody to help me. I was also then alone and had to be a sole provider for my children. I also badly wanted to be at home with them, so I was creating a business that would allow me to work with my children at my home. And being an artist, obviously, I am majority free, as I talk in my books before, which is the free-spirited, intuitive person. But when too many things I have to do, I actually do them, but somehow there is a little bit of mess. So I had a list of things that I had to do. I had to go to the bank, I had to go to the store, I had to pick up one of my sons from somewhere, and I had to go to Home Depot to return some materials that I bought for a project. So here I go, and I had like a short time to do it, and I'm going and doing all my chores, and I run to the bank. I stood in a line, I get to the person, and I said, I need to deposit the check. Oh, and I can have $100 back, cash back. And I'm standing there. The lady kind of looks at me and she says, ma'am, I can't really deposit your check. And I said, what do you mean you can't deposit my check? You always deposit my check. And sometimes when I get nervous, I talk too much. The lady just kind of looks at me and she says, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I really can't deposit your check. And I went well, I always come. I was your customer since you pretty much opened up. I never had a problem. And, where is, the manager? And I went on talking, And then people in line are standing kindly and listening to me. And I'm kind of beginning to realize that something is not right. And then I kind of have this moment of becoming aware as the lady says, ma'am, this is Home Depot. We don't deposit checks here. And this moment that you just all of a sudden look around and you realize that you're in Home Depot, not in the bank. Oh my God, I felt so embarrassed. And of course, just, I'm sure I hope, well, maybe you don't, but that feeling of making a total fool out of yourself. Anyway, I walked out, went to my car, and I thought, gosh, I'm so ridiculously stupid. My mouth is just talking and talking and talking. And at that moment, I see the image of this lady with this giant mouth, which I can show it to you here. So every time I catch myself talking too much, I kind of see this big mouth, growing in front of me. So I gave Ginny my poem. I asked her to kind of cold read my poems for people that have not been really in acting. Cold reading is when you actually get something right away and you read it and you act it as you read it. In other words, you have never ever seen that particular writings or script before. So Ginny read it twice and I recorded those 2 readings. The other one was as she was walking, which is even harder. I'm so happy she did that. I'm so thankful, and I always wanted to refilm it with better quality, but then she moved, and I think at this point my mouth is growing. I'm talking too much. So Liliana, let Ginny talk. You're doing amazing because it's all cold reading, and
Yeah.
And thank you. And what I love about that, you feel the emotions too, and that's so important for me, because that's exactly what I'm so big about. True expression versus just fake stuff. Okay, this one is, you are going to be, at first, Ginny had never seen that poem. You are going to, you are a wonderful, really fun lady, but you just like to talk a lot.
This poem?
Yes, yes. So here you go.
My mouth. I am a nice person. That's what people say. Kind and giving, like folks in the South. They say I only have one small problem, but it's not me. It's my mouth. I knew Dr. Jones once. He was an expert in his field of science, and he surely knew a lot. Yet when I went to get his opinion, I caught my mouth telling him what to do or not. This lady in a blue dress didn't ask me for advice, yet my mouth talked and my voice disappeared. And it did forget to ask her just one question, if she even wanted to hear. One day I promised just to listen to what my husband had to say, and I really wanted to be quiet, but my mouth got in the way. Oh, I went for a walk. I saw my neighbor. Once again, my mouth started talking. And before I knew it, it was time for dinner, and that was the end of my walking. My boss came by my office, asked me how I was, and I surely had lots of things to say. I told him about this, and about that, and my job ended that day. Well, I've learned how to open my soul and my heart and to say it all out. But to sum it all up, well, what I guess I must learn and to get really good at is to know how to keep my mouth shut.
That
was
That's great. Thank you.